share some very interesting information with you. And I'll just sort of talk here for a while I wait for people to settle in. You have a whole stack of stuff you've probably picked up. There's a list of speakers. There was also a copy of the op-ed piece that ran in the paper on this last Sunday. And very important, we are starting this evening, and it's probably going to continue for a while. This issue isn't going to just go away tomorrow. So it's important for us to keep in touch with you, to be able to send information to you as to what's going on, and maybe give an opportunity for you to join in the effort to deal with this very issue. So you all have this little form. What we'd like you to do is to fill that out, and then in about 10 minutes or so, I'll ask you to pass it to the center aisle, and then we'll collect them here, and so you don't have to drop them in a box or anything. You probably also noticed some big jars out there when you came in. If you feel so inclined upon leaving and want to drop some money in one of that would help with events such as this. That's certainly not required. This event this evening, dealing with dark stores, is sponsored by the Marquette County Citizens for Fair Share. I want to commend that group for the work that they've done in putting this together. I would mention people by name, but I would probably miss someone, so it's better just to say that group has put a tremendous amount of effort into this. You'll notice in terms of the people represented at the head table tonight that it represents a broad group of different organizations and units of government. And what I've also been really impressed with is the fact that we have a bipartisan effort here. Republicans and Democrats, we have people who are business people, we have labor, we have people who are retired. This is an issue that is confronting the entire community. And the issue is dark stores. And I would liken that to sort of a financial tsunami that is bearing down on local units of government in Marquette County. And it's not just Marquette County, it's all over the state, but somehow the rest of the state doesn't seem to realize the importance of this issue, but it's going to hit them as well. So we've had representatives down in Lansing today and yesterday talking with legislators about this. Greg Sepinen is going to talk in just a moment about the legislative progress that has been made. That's one approach to deal with this issue. We have another group of people who are going to speak this evening about B.R.I.T.E stores. That's an interesting approach to dealing with this, more local in emphasis, and I think that's very important. And then Randy Gerard is going to talk about the general impact on county, city, and township governments. Now, when Randy talks about this, he'll be talking about big numbers. But what I think is really interesting about what's happening this evening, and if you look at your list, there are all the specific programs in here. So I think oftentimes our eyes kind of glaze over when people talk $1 million here, $1 million there. But when they start talking about how it's going to impact the Sheriff's Department, how it's going to impact the Veterans Affairs Office, how all of these different things are going to be impacted by a potentially 60% reduction in tax revenue. This will affect everybody's daily life. Now, what am I doing up here? I'm the moderator, not the CNBC moderator. So my primary job this evening is to move people along. I won't be asking any questions. Each person who is speaking tonight has 5 minutes to address the issue that they'll be talking about. And then Marge Forslund is our timekeeper. Raise your hand, Marge. And she will lift a card at when there's 4 minutes. That's a yellow card. And then a red card for them to stop, and then I will get up and fidget and frown, and then if that doesn't work, ultimate deterrent, Greg Sepinen is going to start singing. And I would point out to all of the speakers, you don't want to go there. So thank you for that deterrent. Okay, that sort of covers what we're talking about this evening. I would ask you to silence your cell phones. We will be picking up these forms that we ask you to sign on in just a little bit. Our first speaker this evening is Greg Sepinen, who will be talking about legislative update, and we'll be hearing B.R.I.T.E stores, point of view as to how we can address it from that way. Then we'll be talking about county, city, and township government. And then we'll get into the discussions and presentation with regard to specific programs. So with that, I'm going to sit down and turn it over to Greg, and hopefully he'll stay within his time allotted.
I brought my little stopwatch here. So don't start me yet, Marge. Okay, you're going to hear a lot of bad news tonight, so I thought I'd start off with some hopeful news. Senator Casperson and Representative Keevil are sponsoring bills which were written to stop the gaming of the tax code by the corporate lawyers. The legislation does not solve the problem, but it does stop the bleeding. The damage that has already been done in Marquette County and across the state will still need to be addressed. Step one is to stop the spread of this tax dodge. Then we can look at how to address step two, which is dealing with the damage that the tax dodge has already caused. Last of the hopeful news. Yesterday, they did have a committee hearing on dark store issues, as Bob said. Okay, now I'm going to start the bad news. The committee still might not give the legislation a vote. History is not on our side. Our legislators had tried last year and failed to move the dark store legislation. But with your help, there's a chance that we get these two bills into law. Now I'm looking at the crowd and I want you to respond. Raise your hand if you're willing to sign a petition to support this legislation and stop the spread of this dark store dodge. Okay, good response. Okay, here's what we have to do. We've identified the key legislators that need to be moved by their constituents to vote yes on these two bills. Key word is their constituents. They're all downstate. So our committee had a real problem. How do we in the UP gather their constituents up to support the dark store legislation and then show that support to their legislators? Now we're really fortunate. We have a couple really sharp people in our committee. We have Fran Darling and Marge Fortland, and they did, they're kind of tech motivated. And what they did is they developed an online petition and they linked it to social media. And this is where you come in. You all have this one sheet right here. It's the folded one. And on the back, you're going to see how to take the next step. This is what you need to put in your pocket. Don't throw it away. You're going to be doing it tonight or tomorrow morning, because this is how we're going to go ahead and help our legislators, because all the UP legislators are on board with this. It's the downstate ones that we have to impact. You're going to be the key point here to get this across in social media. First, we have to get people to the site, Marquette County Citizens for Fair Share. Again, step by step, it's right here. Then we have to get them to sign the petition, making sure that we get at least their zip code, which allows us to match them up with their legislator. We're going to slice and dice this. We already have about 1,300 people who signed up. We've just been going at it for a couple days. We started this in Escanaba last week. We had 35 people at the meeting, and we kicked it off there. And those 35 people and a couple of us that came from Marquette, because of this social media content, in terms of getting it out there, we've been able to generate 1,300 names on the petition so far, with most of them from downstate. So what we need to do is we need to start you, at the beginning of the process, signing the petition. You then send it over to your Facebook and Twitter accounts. The button's right there. Next, you go to your Facebook account, you like and you share. Now you do this, it's out there, and it'll start getting around, and we'll have lots of people picking it up from your relatives and everybody else who live downstate. Another thing that I would suggest that you do is that you do a group email to some of the people that you have on your list that you know live in the downstate area. What you want to do is cut and paste the Fair Share site onto the group email. Give them a little bit of an explanation of why it's important for them to go ahead and sign the petition. let them know that this will probably be coming very soon to their county, and that's why they gotta get their legislators on board to go ahead and support this legislation. If you all do your part, we should be able to have 4,000 or 5,000 signatures on this by the time this comes up again in December down in Lansing. We'll be able to separate those names out and go to those legislators and say, you have 300 people in your district, they support this legislation, and get their attention. So it's really on you. We need your help here. Please go home tonight, take this form with you, get to that website, and do the petition and get it started. Thank you.
Wow, right on.
Okay, I commend you for your punctuality. Right on, good points. Now we have a presentation on B.R.I.T.E stores, and that will be by Brian Kerrigan and Mike Stuck.
Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna have to apologize. I thought there were gonna be teleprompters, so excuse me for reading off of my notes, but I need to stay on time and on point. I don't want any singing over here. So. The B.R.I.T.E Store Initiative is a growing endeavor that was created to be an influential, positive force where our philosophy is the little things we do make big changes. We are a volunteer group of committed individuals working together for the economic well-being and greater good of the community in the UP and optimistically across the entire state. Our group was forged out of the Save Marquette, Save Michigan group that emerged to address the dark store tax theory and the tax diversion issue. We currently have a Marquette County and a Delta County chapter, and we are expanding. Our objective is to raise awareness, educate, and execute a positive action plan. The B.R.I.T.E Store Initiative has a simple strategy. Identify those businesses that support and invest in our local homegrown economy and strive to create local landscapes where keeping consumer and business dollars in the community is a priority. Our volunteers visit the businesses, share information, and ultimately ask owners if they would be willing to join part of our growing B.R.I.T.E Store Initiative. All our services are free of charge. We also offer a variety of means for B.R.I.T.E stores to market their business and expand their customer base. We create exposure by providing a website where potential customers can view names and information about the B.R.I.T.E Store businesses, as well as convey other essential information. We encourage all B.R.I.T.E stores to display the highly visible and recognizable sign in their storefronts. Why we should support local B.R.I.T.E stores. It creates local character, prosperity, and community and well-being. Local ownership keeps dollars in the local economy, they provide more jobs, and it encourages entrepreneurship while creating a more productive, diverse, and competitive marketplace. All well as countless other public benefits and savings. Understanding these concerns is an integral part of our community's overall long-term success, as well as that of the B.R.I.T.E stores. For more information on the B.R.I.T.E stores, please visit the B.R.I.T.E store, B.R.I.T.E, B.R.I.T.E store tab on the Closed Michigan Loopholes.org website. And it is now my pleasure to introduce our proud B.R.I.T.E store participant, Mr. Mike Stucco. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Stucco. My wife Sonia and I live over on Baraga Avenue with our 6-year-old daughter. We own Breakers Roadhouse at 149 West Baraga Avenue, and we also own Stucco's Pub and Grill at 900 North 3rd Street here in Marquette proper. I hate paying taxes. I love the vibrant, bustling town that Marquette is, with the seemingly endless activities we have year-round. There's something for everybody here all the time, multiple times a year. Very few of these activities would be possible without the tax base that feeds our community. I'm thankful for what Marquette has to offer my family and me. I hate paying taxes. But I'm thankful for the professional police and fire protection presence we enjoy. I hate paying taxes, but I love the bike paths, the snowmobile paths, the hiking trails that we have around here. I get to meet people from all over the country on a routine basis there. Heck, I get to meet people from my own neighborhood there. We don't have a public library in Marquette. We have an amazing public library in Peter White Public Library. The shows, the resources, the community activities, the marvelous architectural presence and professionalism it brings to our community. We have good schools. We have good teachers that are good human beings. They love our students. I hate paying taxes. But I love what's been happening with the revival of the downtown Marquette district. What's happened there in the last decade is impressive. What is planned and being planned over the next several years is going to entrench Marquette as the Queen City of the UP for decades to come. With the exciting variety of businesses, services, award-winning restaurants this bustling town has to offer, it's no surprise anyone would dream to get into the action Marquette has to offer in the most beautiful area of the country. This is a safe community with a reasonably stable economy and infrastructure. You can't be a business owner in this community and reap all of the rewards and benefits this community has to offer without carrying your weight of the cost. When you make the decision to have your lawyers and accountants jump through tax loopholes, you are not making a shrewd business decision. You are stealing from the very community, services, people, and benefits that attracted your dreams to start a business in this community. When everyone opened their store, they told everyone they would bring something great to Marquette, something special. If you told Marquette about your plans to shortchange us when you came to town, I know you never would have been given permission to swing a hammer to start your building. Pick up your bag and carry your weight in this community, or pack your bag and leave. When you came, if you want to be taxed like you are not open, then close. There are plenty of excited prospective business owners who will proudly do what you do and carry their share of the load once you've left. The citizens of Marquette have all of the power. They dictate what businesses can and will be successful. They are the true bosses of our businesses. I know that they will be active with B.R.I.T.E stores when they fully understand what is at play. Educate your employees. Educate your friends. Tell your neighbors exactly what's at play here. I believe that they will view our actions supporting our community with the same words as Vince Lombardi. If you are not fired with enthusiasm, you will be fired with enthusiasm. Thank you for that.
Certainly set a benchmark for the rest of our students. Well done, that's great. I've been told to remind you, if you haven't filled out one of those forms, do so. If you filled it out now, pass them to the middle.